Hey everybody, Joe Khalil here reporting today for Reality Check with Ross Coulthart. We're ending the day. It was a big day, the UAP transparency hearing over in the House. There was a lot there. And at the end of the day, we went to the other side of the building and caught up with a senator, and that was Senator Mike Rounds. He, along with Chuck Schumer, have introduced this amendment to the NDAA about UAP disclosure. It is an incredibly important piece of the big defense bill. We asked him whether it was going to remain in the final product because they introduced this 2 years ago, and at the last minute it was stripped out. So we asked him if he thinks that's going to happen this time. He told me no, he thinks that it is absolutely going to remain in the bill. Your NDAA amendment, the UAP disclosure one, is that still, as far as you know, going to be in the final version?
Well, as near as I know, and we haven't had a discussion specifically, but last time it came out basically in our discussions with the House. I think we're probably still okay over here.
Okay.
But it would be in the House where we have some work to do just to explain to folks what the reasoning is behind it.
Okay. Has it changed at all since you and Leader Schumer first introduced it?
No, very similar, yeah.
Okay. So I remember last time it was sort of the case, and then it was stripped out. Yeah, I kind of forgot why it was stripped out.
Well, you'd have to ask the House. They just really didn't know whether they wanted to get into that whole program with our systems that are out there. And once again, that's the reason why I want to do this, is I want to protect our systems from additional public scrutiny. And the better way to do that is not to have conspiracy theories going around.
I got you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. There was a moment in that hearing where Congressman Eric Burlison showed this video that had never been played publicly before. And we actually brought him out of the hearing, and during a live shot, we interviewed him and basically asked him to walk us through step by step what he is seeing in this video. He got it from a source. It was a video that was filmed in Yemen from a drone camera and purportedly shows some kind of craft that is unidentifiable at this point, that exhibited some characteristics that were pretty unusual after it got hit by a Hellfire missile. So this is what Burlison told us about the video and gave us some broader context on it. So Congressman Burlison's here. Thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here.
We're going to show the video that you just played. And just to be clear, this is video that has never been showed publicly until just now, correct?
That's right. It hasn't been shown publicly. And look, I'm going to create a caveat here. I'm not an expert in video footage. I don't have the forensic, abilities to determine that this is accurate. And so I want to say that. But that being said, the way in which that this was given to me was pretty clandestine and almost was like a Tom Clancy novel. Anonymously given to me, and I think it's remarkable footage.
Well, if we can, guys, if we can bring that full, if possible. And Congressman, can you walk us through, just as best your understanding, what we're actually seeing in this video?
Yeah, the description that was included with the video to me was just simply said October 30th of 2024. So just last year, that this off the coast of Yemen, that this object was filmed by an MQ-9 drone, and that another one that's not seen, another drone, fires a Hellfire missile at this object, and then you can see exactly what happens. What's remarkable to me.
Was that the moment?
Yeah.
Just there?
What's remarkable is that after it's hit, it continues to, it shifts form, continues to fly, but then there's objects that are now trailing with it.
Okay.
And then you can see when it zooms out, you'll see that they continue to trail with this object.
Right there. That was the moment. So it just got sort of clipped, but it looks like it
was a jump zoom.
Okay.
It was a jump zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this
right
is
there.
just a different angle.
That's
of
the jump
same.
zoom. Right.
Okay. Got it. And for those, I guess, unfamiliar, this may sound obvious and dumb, but if something gets hit in the sky with a Hellfire missile, we would not expect it to keep flying.
No, you would not. So that's why, look, and I'm open, this could have been anything, right? It could be, conventional, something, prosaic. It could be just, there's a simple explanation. But look, I'm taking the posture that rather than hold on to these things and keep it from the public, I'm going to release it to the public. I'm going to be transparent. I work for the people, and I'm going to let the public determine the accuracy or validity of the video rather than me hold on to it.
What is the Pentagon saying about this, if anything, already or yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So we're waiting to get some more answers on that.
Yes.
All right. I know you got a hearing to continue to do. Thank you for giving us that explanation, Congressman. Really appreciate it. Meantime, one of the other witnesses, George Knapp, longtime journalist who has been covering the UAP topic, the UFO topic, literally since I've been alive. So he's put a lot of years in. And one of the big proponents of his testimony today was the fact that there is this Russian covert program for decades that has been researching UAP and, as he puts it, with documentation, trying to reverse engineer some UAP, just as is alleged in the U.S. as well, sort of an arms race kind of thing. So he talked about that. I also asked him, bigger picture, what this hearing meant in terms of the longer view of transparency on this issue, and he gave us some pretty good insight. Let's just start, 30,000-foot view. How do you think the hearing went today?
I thought it was spectacular. I mean, the fact that it happened at all is amazing. Congress went 50 years without touching this, no hearings at all. Now we've had several in a row, and these members have, it's a steep learning curve, but they've obviously educated themselves and are deeply interested in it.
What really strikes me is 2 years ago, we had that first hearing, 2023. The difference in just like the caliber of questions from members between then and now, you all have educated them in some sense.
Yeah, I think so. They've clearly done their homework. I mean, it's like, hey, what do you think about UFOs? It's this witness did what, this program did what. They've really done their homework and dug in.
The video that was shown today, I think is pretty remarkable. Granted, we don't fully, I guess, understand what's going on in it. But what did you make of that moment and the committee's reaction to it?
We've been hearing about this video for a while. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it on the air a while ago. We hadn't seen it yet, but now that it's been released, awesome. Somebody had to leak that and put it out and put it in the right hands. A member of Congress had showed it to us in advance of the hearing, and it was pretty spectacular. I mean, a Hellfire missile hitting an unknown object, it bounces off, and then the object keeps going. That's some really interesting technology, whatever the hell it is.
Can you explain Thread 3? There was a lot of discussion and admiration for how you were able to even get that at all. But how important is that to the larger narrative here?
Thread 3 was a really big Russian UFO program. There had been a 10-year stretch where the entire Russian military, vast USSR military apparatus, every unit in that system had to identify, investigate, and pass all the information of any UFO incident onto the Ministry of Defense. Thread 3 grew out of that. It was analyzing all those cases and trying to figure out if they could duplicate the technology that was flying around in their skies. It leads me to believe that we would learn more from the Russians about what our American government knows about UFOs than we'd ever learn from the American government itself, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I hear. Oh, go ahead.
It suggests that the superpowers in this world are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to figure out that technology and see if they can replicate it, and the first country that gets it wins.
I've heard a lot of skeptical. Sure. I've heard a lot of skeptical people talk about how, or they question, if this is truly a real phenomenon, why does it only happen in the United States, not realizing that there are global reports and incidents. So by you introducing that, do you think that all of a sudden now there's more of an awareness about how this is an international phenomenon?
Well, I hope that people will realize that. We Americans are pretty self-centered, and we think that anything that happens in the rest of the world doesn't count. But these things have been around for a long time, flying over every continent, every culture, as long as humans can recall. And it is a global phenomenon. The Russians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Israelis, they're all interested in trying to get the technology. And, maybe events like this can help push us toward the stigma being released. Maybe an event like this will help reduce the stigma and get more people involved, scientists, engineers who've been told for so long that there's nothing to it. The OSAP program under the DIA, they collected files from all over the world. They created the world's largest UFO database with some 240,000 cases. I think that some intelligence agencies are in use of that right now, but the vast majority of what was created with tax dollars has never been released to the public. 95% of these amazing reports have never been released at all. DIA says they can't find them.
It's amazing. Okay, 2 more questions for you, and then I'm all done. What is the next immediate step? I know it's a marathon. It's not a sprint here, disclosure, but what do you think comes next after today?
What I hope comes next is that Congress can enact some protections for whistleblowers that are meaningful, that can protect them not only from retribution in their job, that can maintain their security clearances, and that encourages more whistleblowers to come forward. There are people out there who shared information with us off the record who'd like to be able to go on the record, but they're worried for their lives. That's not a joke. They think that they would be killed if they came forward and told what they had. If Congress wants real whistleblowers with hands-on experience who've worked on these secret projects, have seen the technology with their own eyes, they want them to testify. They're going to have to really enact some strict protections, and it has to go beyond just job protection. It has to be protection for their lives.
And last one, can you just sort of characterize or qualify how you think today may have just moved the ball forward more generally on disclosure?
Well, look, you had really credible witnesses. They're not trying to sell a book. They're not trying to get a movie. They're telling what really happened to them. And it takes courage to come forward under oath before Congress, basically in front of the whole world, and tell the story. You know they're going to get crap. You know what UFO world is like, Joe. They're going to get ripped to shreds, and some of them were already being ripped to shreds as soon as their names came out. So I hope that those guys, being willing to put it all on the line, speak to Congress about what they had seen and what they know, will encourage others to follow in their footsteps.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.